Paris is called the City of Light, but that name exists to distract you from what was buried beneath it, because under the streets, behind sealed walls, lies a secret so unsettling that even historians hesitate to discuss it, not because it isn't real, but because acknowledging it forces an uncomfortable question about how power behaves when no one is watching. For centuries, Paris grew upward while something else expanded below. An underground maze of tunnels, chambers, and forgotten rooms never meant to be fully mapped. Officially, they were quarries. Unofficially, they became hiding places for bodies, for ideas, and for acts that could not survive daylight. And one man, whose name appears quietly in restricted records, understood this darkness better than most. Before modern Paris, authority relied more on fear than law. Justice was selective. Religion shaped morality, and rumor often carried more weight than truth. In this climate, stories spread about a powerful figure who believed influence and protection could be purchased but not with money. He believed they required something rarer, something pure. The archives never describe what happened in detail, and that silence appears deliberate. What they do reveal is that young women began disappearing near specific districts, followed by whispers of ceremonies held deep underground, in sealed chambers, involving vows, symbols, and offerings, meant to control fate itself. Not faith, control. Here is where the story becomes more disturbing. This man was no outcast. He moved among elites. He advised powerful people. He hosted gatherings. And despite growing suspicion, he was never openly challenged, as if the city itself had chosen not to look too closely. Eventually, tunnels were closed. Entrances were sealed. Records fragmented. The man vanished from public life, but not from memory. Years later, when workers accidentally breached a collapsed chamber, they didn't find treasure. They found signs of ritual use, objects placed deliberately, symbols carved with precision, and walls buried to ensure no one would ever return. What unsettles historians isn't whether these events occurred. It's how efficiently they were erased. Streets were renamed. Documents disappeared. Paris reshaped its identity not as a city built on secrecy, but on romance and light. Yet the catacombs remain. Miles of them. Some mapped, many not. And even today, authorities quietly warn people not to wander too far, not only because of collapse, but because certain doors were closed for reasons never written down. Which leads to the question rarely asked out loud. Were these tombs meant to hide the dead, or to bury what the living once did to remain powerful? Because if Paris had to hide something this deeply, maybe the real mystery isn't what happened beneath the city, but how easily the world learned to forget it.